Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We're sharing a lot of content related to self-heating your greenhouse for free with free materials and some solar power. We've got our PEX tubing laid out just in a general form, so it loops down at the end of the greenhouse here, and I kind of just pinched it up. So we've got where our tank will fill back up after it's heated, and then it transfers the heat to the floor in here, and then we've got our inlet outlet. So we've got our pump pumping in, it goes into the pile, comes back out of the pile, goes into our PEX all the way down to the other side of the greenhouse, back up, and then we'll dump back in. So I did a little bit of work kind of insulating up our lines here. I had a nice leaf bag covering it overnight because it was pretty chilly last night, about 28-29 degrees. So we've got our copper tubing, and I basically just made a little box to insulate that, and I'm going to throw a whole bunch of wood chips and leaf bags to insulate all this and basically just cover this up. I just wanted that good insulation value right on our pipes to keep all of this protected and keep it nice and insulated as we're transferring between our greenhouse and compost pile here. Jumping back in the greenhouse, I've got to connect my copper tubing to my PEX tubing. So the first thing we're going to do is take a 3/8, because we've got 3/8 copper tube, we've got a 3/8 compression fitting. So we've got our compression fitting for our copper, and then we've got the actual 1/2-inch connector that connects to our shark bite. So this is the order that it goes in. We will be connecting this into this, and it screws in there. So we've got our PEX connections to our copper figured out. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up real quick so we can try and run some water. So upon starting my pump, I noticed a small leak at my compression fitting, and I'm kind of glad it happened so I could show this to everybody. So my first compression fitting is nice and tight, super solid, and it runs to our shark bite down into our pump. Now we've got our shark bite on our PEX here, and this is totally able to be manipulated and twisted to tighten on. So we've got to get our compression fitting, all three little pieces of that compression fitting, tightened up. So I wanted to show everybody how I'm tightening this up so we don't have any other leaks and everybody can gain a little bit of knowledge going forward here. First, we're going to put this little collar, I believe it's called a collar, and then we've got our little compression fitting, and then we've got our last piece here to adapt to our PEX tubing there. So we're going to slide our compression fitting all the way down, and we want to make sure this is bottomed out. You want the copper tube to bottom out inside there. So we bottom that out, place our compression fitting, and then we hand tighten. We've got this compression fitting on, and it is nice and tight and solid. So we want to make sure we are tightening our compression fitting nice and tight, bottoming it out and running that bead up to it. That way we can have a good connection. We hook up to our shark bite, and we want to make sure we're holding this whole compression fitting as we're tightening the shark bite, so none of this comes loose when we're getting this all situated. Now we're ready to kick this off and get some heat from our compost flowing through the greenhouse here. I really wanted to emphasize the process of getting the compression fitting to the shark bite, so basically going from copper into PEX tubing there and having a nice tight seal, a waterproof, watertight seal. Especially with our heating, it's expanding and contracting because we're pushing cold and warm water through at different times. So let's jump right into this. I'm going to click this on. You can kind of hear it rumbling there. No leaks from our system. So we're running in and out of the compost pile, and all that water's got to travel. Well, we've got water coming out. All right, let's try and get a reading here. So we've got about 50-degree water right now, and so we've got a little over 50 degrees coming out right now, right as it started, and it's slowly picking up. So we're definitely gaining some steam here. After about 10 minutes, we're pushing about 60-some degree water. So we've already had a 10-degree increase. The tank water was sitting about 50 degrees. So we've got a 10-degree increase and that pile's just getting cooking again as we reallocated it. So building all of that heat and being able to draw that off already is very cool. That water physically feels warm. So this was our DIY water system. This is our water heating system, and this is how we're getting the heat to our greenhouse floor. So all this PEX tubing is full of water now. We'll be able to kind of situate it, and it's a little more malleable once you bring it in the greenhouse and get it in the warmer area. When this is cold, it does not want to bend very well, so we kind of just haphazardly looped it to get all this ran, and then we can run our warm water in. That warm water and the warm air definitely help make it a little more malleable to work it into where you got to be. So I'm gonna get this overflow hose here situated a little better. This is just a temporary zip tie setup and a brick just to keep it in line. So we'll get our row covers in here. We'll be able to insulate all of this heat and keep it closer to our plants, allowing a much better grow season throughout the winter. And now I can really throw some focus on running all of this water with a solar system that is separate from our air moving system for our compost heating. So we're going to be running our fan off of a separate system, then we'll be running our water. So they will always be running, hopefully, and we're going to run them on a timer.